Yes, yes, we've arrived at divisional weekend. It's been a while. We've got here. Got to savor the football while it's here. But Mike, not savoring the picks, certainly. I mean, last week, an all-time bad one for you. Let's just relive that quickly. You picked 0 of 6, I believe.
Yeah.
I had 5 of 6. So really continuing your slump there into the postseason nicely.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Not good. Not good. Not great, Bob. I thought the picks would be a bit closer. The games would be a bit closer than that, but everything apart from Bucks Commanders was extremely one-sided. So yeah, came out on the wrong side of all those games. So yeah, I need to fairly buck my ideas up this week.
Yeah, it's a shame. The quality of football wasn't what I was expecting, certainly. It used to be one of my favorite weekends of the year. Now, I don't know, with the seven-team playoff, the quality has dipped a little bit and we get these blowouts, unfortunately.
I did pick the Buckeyes game correctly. That'll be
You
my only
did.
saving grace.
That's correct. And we'll once again pick the college game this week. Should we start with that one actually? Because I think it's probably the biggest
No,
game.
we'll finish with that.
All
I've
right, just
got
a little caveat. Okay.
I've got the NFL teed up here, so it's easier just to stick with that first.
All right.
Share
Go
that
into it.
share that with the good people. Um, so yeah, Houston at well, you've obviously got to pick this one first. Your beloved Kansas City Chiefs, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they are at home in Arrowhead. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely freezing. You can see the line there. Take it away, Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be freezing. I wonder if the vortex will be in Kansas City by that time. I think it is going to start sweeping in tomorrow. The Texans outdoors. Well, that's probably factored into this line a little bit. 8.5 points. Chiefs have been, aside from when they rested players against the Broncos, they have started to cover some of these bigger spreads again, and just play really mistake-free football, and beat lesser opposition, which is what I think the Texans are. It's a really tough line. On the line, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I just can't pick against them. I do think they're probably going to get back to the Super Bowl this year, so I have to just pick them. That was my prediction from the start. Um, Historically, this game's been close in the playoffs. You think when the Texans went there 2020, and were up 3 scores famously and then just crumbled. Totally different team, but same kind of environment here. Just the weather's going to be a lot worse this time around, so I expect it to be lower scoring. Um, Also, the Texans struggled against the Chargers early last week, and it was really just Chargers' mistakes that let them back into that game. A lot of turnovers that you didn't expect from the Chargers. The Chargers were bossing it early. If that goes like it will here, like I'm predicting, the Chiefs are going to be more than 6-0 up. If the Chargers Texans start like they did last week, so. I'm going to go Chiefs defensively to just smother the Texans' attack. McDuffie, put him on Collins, and just see if we can shut him down. And then the Chiefs' defense has been excellent against the run all year, so I don't see Mixon being a threat. He wasn't really against the Chargers either, which is why I have confidence covering 8.5.
Interesting. Just looking at this, Mixon and Robert Woods both questionable for an already
Ooh.
heavily depleted um, Houston Texans offense. I want to go Texans here purely on the basis of the pass rush. Anderson, Autry, and et al. Off the edge were ferocious against the Chargers. Really, really ruined that game for the Chargers. I would say the Chargers have better tackle play than the Chiefs.
Well, it is
Um,
the one weakness of the Chiefs, the
yeah,
outside.
exactly. Which is what I was thinking, but. I'm going to go with you here. I'm going to back the Chiefs, not only because you have the local knowledge after watching a fair bit of them, even attending a game this season, but also because I think the Chiefs' offense just won't be able to move the football here. I think they were struggling. Titus Howard playing guard. I imagine they'll be They'll be putting Chris Jones over the top of him all game, and that just seems like an absolute nightmare to me. If Mixon doesn't play as well, they've just really got nothing on to offer. With McDuffie smothering Collins potentially. So, yeah, I think this might get a bit ugly. This one, the Texans having to go out of their dome on the road, and also memories of the last time they went there, just a mere sort of 4 or 5 years ago in a divisional round, or was it a championship game? I think it was a championship game, wasn't it? And they got
Oh, it might
absolutely
be.
they
Yeah,
they
the
were
champ.
they were up 21 to nothing and threw it away. So yeah, I think the Chiefs for me here too to cover the 8.5, which
Yeah,
seems
again, as I've said on a lot of these spreads all year, it's less about the Chiefs' offense that everyone seems to be in a hullabaloo about, and more about Spagnuolo and that defense being an elite top five defense in the league.
they've built the roster that way.
Yeah.
They've taken their hits on offense because you have Patrick Mahomes, and as the article says here, he's more of a grinder now than a.
Yeah.
They don't want to throw for 5,000 yards. Those days are long gone. They're happy to throw for 3,000 and play good defense, which probably is more of a winning formula, I would suggest, than being that
Mm.
open of an offense. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs are in good position in this particular game. The AFC Championship game is a coin toss for me, even though if the Chiefs get through, either one of the teams they play will be a much tougher game, but quite a soft
Yeah.
opponent.
It'll be at
Quite
Arrowhead, which is key.
true, but quite a soft opponent, I would say here. This is more of a wild card feel, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I will say softened up by injury more than anything else, but that's the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right. That was quite a long preamble there on the Chiefs, but we haven't seen them yet this offseason, so it was worth talking
No.
about. Another team we haven't seen yet either is the number one seeded
Ooh.
Detroit Lions. Oh, Nelly, this is a monster 9.5 point advantage here for the Lions at home. No place like Dome for the Detroit Lions, according to the bookmakers. Yeah, we spoke about this at length before we jumped online here. I haven't changed my mind in the 10 minutes since we spoke about it. I'm going to take the Commanders here. The Lions are probably going to win this football game. They're a bit of a mismatch for me on the offensive line against the Commanders' defensive front and the light boxes that Dan Quinn likes to play. Probably the second best offensive line in the NFL the Lions possess, and I think two very dynamic running backs with Montgomery returning to the fold for this game. I think so. I think they'll be quite aggressive with the run, hit some play action shots, and then Jane Daniels will keep things close, so he will cover here the 9.5. But I think the Lions win the game.
Yeah, good points there. I do think the line, it's a bit rich for me. As I was saying before, aside from that Vikings game, which is a divisional game, you kind of throw it out the window almost stat-wise. The Lions haven't really won many games by more than a score. So I do feel comfy siding with you on the Commanders on this. I actually took the line earlier and I put it down to 8.5, just because I felt pretty confident about them covering the score. They're very good against the Bucks on the road against a decent team. They're impressive, and they just have this knack of, I said last week, winning these late games. Late in the fourth quarter is when the Commanders shine. It's good coaching, really. I think you can put it down to. So I've been very impressed. I don't know. Money line Commanders is tempting for me this week. Honestly, they're a form team. Let's see what the Lions look like after resting. But as you said, that Lions defense. Could, there has to be a point in the year where these injuries bite them, and it's going to happen in one of these games, I'm sure. So this would be a really fun game.
I think so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Won't be able to watch it live, but I will watch it on catch up. That's going to be a bit of a doozy, I think.
Yeah.
This one, obviously, I will be watching live. Um,
Nice.
I guess we'll alternate now. I'll take this one. You can take the next Thomas.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, it's my turn anyway. What am I talking about? Oh no, it's not. No. So I
No,
will,
no.
I will steal this one away from you. Eagles come in as a 6.5 point favorite. I'm actually going to ride the birds here. I shouldn't have backed against the Rams last week. I even gave myself the reserve the right to come back and change my pick, which I didn't then do, which is
Yeah.
foolish because they're coming in, they're riding a hot streak. They've won 10 of their last 11 games or something. So they're playing really good football. Um, But I just think it's going to be really cold in Philadelphia. It's potentially going to be snowing. And the Eagles, especially this season, this iteration of the Eagles roster is built to play in those conditions. So we'll lean on the number one defense of the NFL, and we'll run the ball with Hurts. Hurts did look very poor last week
Mm.
um, against the Packers, but the Packers themselves had a top five defense. And he'd only been in two practices following his concussion. So
Yeah.
I'm imagining with a full week's practice, he won't need to have been rested after his time off. So a full week practice and quite a young up and coming defense, but sort of middle of the table developing defense. I think we can put up quite a few points on the ground in this game. So I'm happy to take the Eagles by a touchdown, which obviously means they'll cover the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to differ on this one. I like the Eagles last week against the Packers. I was happy there. Um, but I like the Rams hot streak a lot more, like you said. I just don't see them going down without a fight. They've got the fires burning in Los Angeles. I think they're playing for something a bit more, and I'm sure that's going to be spoken about in their team talks in the days leading up to this and try and galvanize the team whatever way you can. I think that's a good point to note there. Um, yeah, if the weather's bad, I think the Rams are still going to be able to run the ball with Williams. I think he's a pretty good back, and their line should just be able to do enough to move it. And Matthew Stafford was so impressive last week against that vaunted Vikings defense that confused everyone. He was not confused at all. So I wonder if the Eagles will just sit back and say, okay, you can come at us, and then we'll stiffen in the red zone and we won't let you score points, which is probably a good strategy against them. But I do think the Rams are going to move the ball. I think they cover 6.5. Again, as I said with the Commanders, I'd be looking at the money line on that as well as a surprise victory here for the away team. I just think those are two of the form teams in the NFL. So both these NFC Championship games, I'm going to be watching the whole thing. So they're going to be awesome games, these ones.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, was sort of the first coordinator ever to stifle that McVay offense when it was really
Mm.
rolling. The Bears, when he was with the Bears, they beat the Rams. Then the strategy that he employed was then taken by the Patriots to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see. He's 0 for 2 against Fangio, McVay. So it'll be interesting to see what he's got up his sleeve in this one.
Nice.
Um, so just an extra little plot line there to add some intrigue.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, hopefully that Eagles tackling is like it's been throughout the season and not 2023 Eagles tackling because that will really bite you with those receivers.
yeah, no, for sure. I think, yeah, last week it wasn't great against the Packers, but that was a bit of an aberration compared to what it's been the rest of the season. I think they'll probably be focusing on that this week because it wasn't good enough last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's your honor here, Thomas.
And we're going to
Uh,
round off with the tightest spread of the week by a distance.
yeah, the Bills coming in as a home underdog here, Tom. Can you believe that?
Oh, oh.
I I'm
Yeah.
struggling. I've not. This is the first time I've seen this line. I assumed the Bills would be favored and by a small amount and didn't look at it.
No,
I can't believe this.
I can't believe it either. All these spreads have, I don't know, the first three spreads, they were more than, well, not the Eagles, but the other two were more than a touchdown. The Eagles one was still big. It's very big spreads for divisional games, I have to say. This one is more on par with what you'd think. You're just picking a winner here. And these are two excellent teams. They've been good all year. Ravens crushed the Steelers, Bills crushed the Broncos. Didn't learn anything really about what they're going to be like under pressure in those games. Two easy home games for them. Got to take the Bills here to cover in Orchard Park. Um, Allen playing mistake-free football and just getting the job done. Ravens defense showed up against the Steelers and it's probably been a bit better than I've given them credit for, but I still think they're very vulnerable on defense. And I don't see how the Ravens are going to stop the Bills with all the weapons they have. Khalil Shakir has been excellent all year, especially after the catch. The Bills utilize both their tight ends, which could be a problem for the Ravens. Patrick Queen running around. try to cover.
No, Queen plays for the Steelers now.
I realize that as I said it now. Goodness,
Yeah,
my AFC North knowledge escaping me, but
yeah.
nonetheless, it's a playoff game for the Ravens until they are convincing in the playoffs. I'm going to keep signing with the Bills. I know the Ravens tried to change their playoff stigma, I guess, against the Chiefs last year with some antics pre-kickoff with Justin Tucker et al. And they still couldn't get the job done, trying to get into the Chiefs' skin last year. So until the Ravens win one of these big playoff games, I can't back them in this. So I'm going to take the Bills.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills. For me, this line is absurd. I assume there just must have been a lot of money going in on the Ravens. I don't think the bookmakers would have set it as the Ravens being the favourites here. Doesn't make any sense to me. As you said, Lamar's never won one of these really big playoff games. They absolutely dismantled the Steelers last week, but so did the Eagles. The Eagles beat every AFC North team they played this year. I just don't think the AFC North is what it was sort of 4 or 5 years ago. I think it's a weakened division. And I think the Bills are the outstanding team in the AFC this year, even above the Chiefs potentially. It's the the Chiefs are magic. They find a way to win games they haven't really deserved to win necessarily, whereas the Bills have played some excellent football this year. And mistake-free football, as you said, Josh Allen has kind of learned. And if it is bad weather there, okay, I can understand people saying, "Well, the Ravens have got Lamar Jackson and they've got Derrick Henry, or the Bills have got Josh Allen. Like he's an alien. They'll run. They showed last week against the Broncos that they're going to run him 10, 15 times a game in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah,
And that is, to be honest with you, I think that's as big of a threat as Lamar Jackson running. He's like Cam Newton
yeah.
running around that. Even if it comes into a physical ground and pound game, I still think the Bills are in it. And I think their defense is better, and I think they're at home. So yeah, give me the Bills. Odd line to me, that very odd.
Yeah, it is odd. Sometimes you watch these Bills games, and I'm not sure how the defense can stop this offense once it's rolling. It's almost unstoppable. So yeah, I can agree with that. We had three agreements this week, different to last week, but yeah, hard to go
Well,
against some lines.
yeah, I think the line we just went with where the lines took us, apart from
Yeah,
maybe me going on my going with my heart on the Eagles. I think you have to go where the lines lead you sometimes. I mean, that is just an absurd line that to me. I'm starting to
yeah,
think I might include them in a triple there, the Bills that I've got in mind, because that's I feel very confident in that one.
that's true. Yeah,
Okay, well, the tiebreaker then, the fifth game. So if we draw 2-2 on the spreads, 2-2, um,
Desmond.
the college football playoff final. I think that's what they're calling it. Is it? No,
Well, national.
CFP National Championship. Okay. Um, so you have the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Um, we have got an 8.5 point line here. Buckeyes are favored. Um, one of us has got to go first more than the other. Shall I just take the bullet and just do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, all of these, a lot of these playoff games have been blowouts. The exception, obviously, was Notre Dame's game last week. Um, and the standard of opposition they're about to face in Ohio State is a lot higher. So you
Yeah.
would think logically maybe they haven't got it to keep this close. I just have a feeling it is going to be close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a 21-point win. I think some stuff I've seen, some people I've spoken to, I think are very, very confident of an Ohio State thrashing here. And to be fair, they always are before every game. Ohio State fans, they think they're going to beat everybody by 21 points. I don't think so. I think the Fighting Irish are going to come out fighting here. Ohio State are crowned national champs on a last minute field goal. Uh,
Oh,
in college football, which is a very rare sight. But I think it's going to be a close one. But the Bucks take it here.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think OSU's kicker's been quite hit or miss this year. So if it
Yeah,
came down to that, I'd be very worried if I was an OSU.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I could see it being a situation where they really don't want to kick it, but they find themselves in a position where they have to. And I
Yeah,
think I think they might make it. If that happens, you owe me a pint.
yeah. I'm going to take the Buckeyes. The
Ooh,
count very
confident,
different.
confident.
Yeah, we know today they did Indiana, but it wasn't that comprehensive. It was like a 10-point win against Indiana, and then a closer one against Penn State. Who did they play? I forget who they played in the quarters now.
Yeah, I
But
can't remember.
that wasn't an overly tough game either. Their quarter. It was
I am impressed they beat Penn State. I have to say that I can't really believe they beat Penn State. Not the
no.
Notre Dame that I've seen. I'm not the biggest college football fan, but watching this Notre Dame team the last 6 or 7 years, they just have always flattered to deceive in those big games, and yeah, that has
No,
impressed me.
they have done well. It was Georgia. It was Georgia in the quarters.
Oh wow, so that was a big, yeah,
Yeah, but with the Georgia backup QB
yeah.
and
Well,
so, some odd.
even with Beck in there, it's not a vintage Georgia team, is it?
No, it's not. But OSU have the best defense in college football. They're far too talented on the line, and their edge rushers have been lethal. Um, they've also taken the handbrake off since that Michigan game. I said to Megan, it's something I wish England football would do when you get to these knockout games, is just go
Yeah,
out there and just try and destroy people. I mean, that's what OSU've been doing. Jeremiah Smith's been getting the ball, even against Texas when they shut that down. It was the run game and the end arounds and stuff, and just creating holes everywhere, scheme wise. Chip Kelly having a field day. So I think it's a mismatch for me. I think it's a 14-point win here for the Buckeyes.
that's a really good point on the defense. Just even preliminary look at the NFL draft, the upcoming NFL draft. It's
Yeah.
the thing is just littered with Ohio State Buckeyes from the defensive side of the football,
Yeah,
including
the
those
safety,
two.
Caleb
Yeah,
Downs, very impressive.
very
Alabama.
impressive. And
Yeah,
those two ends in JT and Sawyer, they're both going to go. And I say JT because I can't pronounce his surname. After
yeah,
4 years of OSU, watching him play for OSU, I still can't pronounce his name. I'll have to get that right by the time we do our mock draft because I feel like he might squeeze into round one. Those boys are both going to go in the top 50 unless there's injury concerns. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a vaunted defense. You might be right, but I just think it might be a close one here.
No, that's good. It's good to have a differ on this. Yeah, no, it should be fun.
Well, alas, I won't be watching it. It's on a 1 in the morning on a Tuesday night or a
Oh,
Wednesday. Sorry, a Wednesday morning here at one
it
a.m.
is,
So
it is bad. It's like even with the extended playoff now, you think they could. I know
well,
it's just
why wouldn't you do it on a Saturday? It doesn't make or a Friday. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
yeah, no, because historically it always is. But like with the format changing, you'd think they'd say, "Oh, just put it on a prime time spot now." But
So
alas,
I guess they wouldn't do it on Saturday because it will clash with the championship round of the NFL. But do it on
yeah,
Friday night. So then we have
Friday,
Friday,
yeah,
Saturday, Sunday, wall to wall, meaningful football would be
yeah,
glorious.
I know it would
Um,
be.
but yeah,
Uh,
as things stand, I'll have to try and watch it on a replay here somewhere. Someone might have it. If not, I'll just have to watch YouTube highlights, which is sad, but is what it is.
it's sad. You might be able to get a 15-minute highlight reel on that though. So
Yeah.
all is not.
Oh yeah, yeah. The tension of that for all of 15 minutes. Ugh.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. So,
All right.
yeah, good picks there. I have to say some odd spreads there for a divisional round. I think a lot of those games will be closer than what those lines say. So let's see.
Yeah. Let me just come out of the share then, making a real faff of that. Yeah. Well, let's have a look. I mean, I'm getting excited for the NFL draft now. It's really my favorite time of year, I think. But these games as well really do fire me up again. I was talking to you about this the other day. The last nine of the NFL regular season,
Oh,
I really do struggle with because there's just so many poor games in that
it was a
stretch.
grind. Yeah, this year in particular, I was very lackluster.
Yeah, there's some really bad divisions this year where all four teams just were not competitive. You think of the NFC South in retrospect, like Buccaneers did well to make it into the playoffs, but that division was awful. So was the AFC South. Like it just there just
Yeah.
hasn't been enough good football for me this year in the NFL. Hopefully next year is better.
NFC West as well. Very
Yeah, oh yeah,
disappointing.
dreadful. Oh,
Yeah.
dreadful.
Some of those
Yeah,
teams should have been
yeah,
much better. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. AFC North, you could argue. Even though two of them made it in the playoffs, the Steelers were very lucky to do so.
Yeah.
Um,
They're petering out.
yeah, right.
All right.
Well, we'll leave it there. Enjoy the games, and we'll speak soon.
Yeah. All right. Go well.
Go well.